Hello, welcome back to One's the Force of Star Wars podcast. My name is Phil, of course. I'm joined as usual by Dave for our weekly Resistance breakdown. Good evening, Dave.
Good evening, my friend, my brother in the Force. How are you doing, sir?
I am very good. I am very well, my friend. Thank you very much. I would say we're joined as usual by absence, but of course George has joined us for one episode, then graciously declined to join again.
He has given us our thoughts. We will drop him at the end of what he thought of this episode. But yeah, it's I to be honest, I quite enjoyed this episode, so I'm looking forward to talking about it.
I enjoyed parts of it,
Okay.
so this might be one where you will have the lead towards it than I, because I there's certain parts I like, certain parts I'm like, really, you could just come on, pick that, because the pace is a bit off. But we'll talk about it as we get through it. So of course this is season 2, episode 5, The Engineer. Um, Brief thoughts on it before we go into it. I enjoyed the episode as a whole. There are bits I'll talk about as we go through that I wasn't a huge fan of. Dave, of course, you're saying already going into it. You know this one. So George watched it, forgot about it. We'll come back for when we have Supreme Leader.
Yeah, pretty much. As soon as anything is going to happen with Kylo Ren, George will be back to talk Kylo because that's his
It's
boy.
it's George, so of course that's what will happen. Yes. So might as well crack straight into the episode. Brief little rundown for you. So the episode opens up with Kaz and Niku on board the Bridge of the Colossus, going over some sort of repairs. I'm not sure what it is. Doza and Yiga are chatting between the two of them, saying, "Are you sure you trust them?" So, well, Niku is our best engineer, he's the only one we've got. They managed to get the holo projector working again, just in time to receive a transmission from someone claiming to have been attacked by the First Order, whose ship has been wrecked and who is in need of help. Yiga, of course, goes, it could be a trap, and Doza agrees and said, "We'll just take someone, but also take someone who, with you, Kaz, but who can shoot a blaster a bit better than you can." So Kaz takes Sonara and heads over to the location of the fried ship, along with CB-23. They dock with said ship, open up the airlock. Of course, a bunch of gas escapes through it, and they're greeted by Nina, who, of course, going, "This is a rescue, right? Because you are kind of pointing blasters in my face." Yeah, I kind of enjoyed the interaction. It's kind of funny. But yes, they kind of go, "Yeah, no, we are here to rescue. Don't worry. We're going to bring you back to our ship." And they find out she's an engineer, finds out how she might be able to be of some use. She then gets introduced to Yiga and Doza on board the Bridge of the Colossus, talks to Niku, and starts to help out by putting in a splice, a case splice, which will be very important later on. Unfortunately, I did pick up on that extremely early on. I think it's a bit too obvious. However, going forward, the power comes back on. Everyone seems to be happy. The pirates are happy. However, they seem to discover the fact that the pirates seem to be leeching some extra power off of the Colossus, and there gets into a bit of confrontation between the two parties. Dozer says enough, try and get them off board. At least just try and have a look, see what's going on. Kaz goes out to investigate. Sonora then captures him and goes, "Okay, what do you think's going on here?" And they she kind of convinced him that maybe not as all as it seems. We then cut back to Niku and Nina, where Nina is kind of opening up to Niku about her life, and then he's talking about his life and how, I mean, they are the same species as well. I can't remember the name of the species off the top of my head, but they are the exact same species. In fact, I think I have it in my notes here. A Nycto. There we go. So they are both the Nycto. So yes, because they are the same species. And yes, so they're chatting there. And of course, she tells him that the splice isn't exactly what it is, but Niku doesn't exactly pick up on that right away. Kaz and Sonara then really find out exactly what's going on. The fact that they go aboard the ship, power up, and they find out to be. They find in the data that she is working for the First Order. Kaz then has to run off and try and warn Niku about Nina, but unfortunately, she kind of twigs what's going on, and it's a bit too late, shuts down the power, and legs it to her ship, where she's attempted to be stopped by Sonara and by Kaz and by Niku. She kind of gives Niku a little hint about the case splice before she manages to escape. However, the First Order have been alerted and are on their way, and then, of course, do show up. Nina then talks to the First Order, gets her payment, and legs it. So the First Order then can begin attacking them as the ship has been disabled. Kaz and Niku then have to undo all of the fixes that have been done, disable the power regulators so that they can get everything back up and running. And eventually, before it's too late, the pirates have been told as well to cut their own power. And then the pirates come and say, we're better getting it as it is. We'll say you're not going to survive unless you unplug all of it. Kraken eventually kind of just agrees, so it's fine, unplug it. And then those have got everything except the thrusters. We need those. Niku then kind of twigs about the K-Splice and removes it just in time so they can jump to hyperspace. The First Order, of course, Pyre and Tyranny aren't exactly happy. Tyranny says if we come across her again, just flat out execute her, which I think will crop up later. And then, of course, everyone's happy. And we find out that Niku's other best friend is a chair.
Love that bit.
Yeah, okay, that bit was kind of funny.
No, it was a really nice episode. I really liked where it took us. I thought the story was a really nice story as well. Yes, we all kind of twigged what was going to happen with the engineer. It was, you're right, you could pick it up really early on from what was going on with what she was doing to what was coming. It was an obvious one, but what I said, one I really, really enjoyed. From the last 2 episodes that we've had that I wasn't that into, I really liked this one.
Whereas I didn't. I like it. However, I know the overtone of that K-Splice was meant to be for the younger audience so they could help them figure it out. But being that bit older, of course, you kind of see it. I twig on it and then I couldn't untwig. If you know what I mean? I couldn't kind of switch my brain and go, I know this is where the payoff is going to be. And it was a little just too obvious throughout. I kind of did like the interaction between Niku and Nina. It was almost a little bit too meet cute. Not surprising though, because I can't remember her name. The woman who does the voice for Niku is actually married to Josh Brenner in real life.
Yes, yeah, it's his wife.
So, yeah, exactly. So there's going to be some chemistry.
Chemistry is, I was going to say the chemistry is there for a reason.
Yeah,
I really like that we've got a Niku central episode.
Yeah,
I actually thought he's been quite underplayed this season, and it was nice for him to kind of be shown doing what he does. That he's this engineer on board the Colossus who is.
Well, it shows he actually has a purpose.
Yeah, he really does. He's not just there for.
He's not just comic relief.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he had a real purpose in this, and you could actually see him at work, and especially as the later part of the episode when they figured out what had actually happened and that they were going to have to try and reset all the things she'd done, that he kind of came into his own, and I thought it was a really, really nice play on his position on the Colossus.
Indeed, and there are bits I like. For me, the pacing was very off in this episode. It felt... some of the interactions were just a little bit dragged out and some of them were a bit too fast. The pacing just felt odd. It was almost a bit too much. As soon as you got into it, she was able to fix everything, which is fine. But then once the repairs were done, everything was able to undone too easily. So it's almost a case of all this work she's done, she's just not supposed to undo. You're supposed to be able to be tracked down by the First Order and be destroyed. That's the whole purpose of her job. And it almost felt like a bit too easy. I
get what you mean, that it was undone very quickly, but they kind of have set it. So from where they are, that they only left a couple of minutes really at the end of the episode for it to kind of take place and to be sorted out. So in that way, I guess, yes, it was done quite quickly, but they had to kind of finish and get up and running again. And I kind of understand that. So the pacing was a little quick. I mean, we started quite well with the kind of what happened. The ship was down. They needed to get this fixed. They'd obviously done their first jump from the last episode. So they've got this new area of space and they need to move on. And I did like the whole found someone out in space that they found, all right, there's someone who's got distress beacon and we need to go rescue them. And it said within the first few lines, I think Dozer, is it Dozer who says this could be a trap? I think it is Dozer who says that. That it could be a trap and that they could fall into it. And you straight off, you're thinking, yeah, actually, this is probably a trap. But
I think it's for me personally, I would have actually preferred it if in this episode it came all good, and it's only later on, like in another episode further down the line, you found out she'd been slowly sabotaging them as they got along.
Okay,
to give it a long payoff. so that it adds more peril at a later point when they go, well, we thought all these repairs would happen, that she could play the pirates off against them and give this longer running conflict. So for me, that's why I felt the pacing was off. As almost here's your beginning, middle, and end in an episode, but it almost felt like there was so much there they could have actually used for later on. It could have been a nice little subplot going on, especially if you felt the character could have been. It was a complete surprise that she could have turned. Like, you would never have known it. It could have been here's 6 episodes later, they find out they get in a fight with the First Order, but then the shields are disabled halfway through for some reason, and the thrusters go, and then they go, well, we thought that you'd repaired all this, but they can't find she's already gone. To get at that level. And that was just my personal point of view. I liked the concept of the episode, I just didn't like how it was all kind of done in one episode.
I think you're right in that she felt very much like she could have become a steady member of the crew. And I do like what you've said, that they could have had the build-up of, she's there, and maybe we got more of an insight into what she was doing behind the scenes, like her linking in with the First Order before it just became this one episode. But I think, again, we're kind of looking at some of these where we're going to get episodes like this because we are flying towards the end of the season and series itself. So I think they are very conscious of that as well with some of these.
Agreed. So it does feel like that, although the way the character has been left leaves the door wide open for her return, especially with how she ended it with Niku and also what Pyre and Tyranny said. So Tyranny going, if we come across her again, execute her. They wouldn't have put that in if it wasn't intended for her to return. At least that's my thought behind that.
No, I would absolutely agree with you. And I did love that we finally got the First Order catching up to the Colossus. I love that this was a setup all along. I love that we got the TIE fighters in action around the Colossus as well.
Well, it now feels almost like every time they run, they catch you. It's that kind of, now they've put the peril in the case of you can run, but you can't hide.
Yeah. I still don't know why they haven't been given the same technology that the other that the rest of the First Order have in tracking hyperspace, but
it depends on how limited it is. It depends if it's only on
Snoke,
certain ships and all the rest of it. It's kind of like there are reasons behind it. And also, you kind of have to. There are storytelling points behind it, and maybe this is one of those points where they went, "This is a bit too much, Johnson. We will just use what we've got here." And I don't know. There's potentially bits behind it. I agree with what you're saying, but maybe that could come in a later episode. Though they could go, "We now have this technology to track them through hyperspace."
Yeah. So they can't go anywhere when they're finally going to get to a planet. Yeah.
So it could just be a point of waiting, tracking until they get the last few episodes could be, we now have this technology to track them, and they track them to a last stand. So that could be potentially how the show ends, although I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to end on the lighter side than the darker side, but we're yet to see, obviously.
I would completely agree that no matter where we go in this story, that you will find a brighter look to the future and what could happen. I think it is not a series that's going to finish dark. Everyone died. There's no way that is the end of this story. There's absolutely no way they're going to put that out in this Disney era. That, especially on this show, I don't think it's...
Unless it's Rogue One, they're never going to do it. Rogue One was the exception to the rule. We're like, they can't kill everyone. Oh, wait a second, they did. Oh, well, fair play to you then.
It is going to... I mean, because we don't know any of these characters outside of this series, obviously... There is still peril for them all, but I think the main thing that we'll get, it will be a resolution to Tam's story, will be the closer.
Yeah, agreed.
But I did like, I mean, again, it's all this integration of Niku, I think, his character from being just this comedic character in the first series. I did really love what they've done with him. And I think the midpoint of the episode, I liked the pirate story a lot. I liked the play on how she made it look like, oh, look, the pirate is stealing your power, which is obviously a complete fabrication of what she was doing. But I really liked the element with the pirates in there. I love that the Gamorrean guard and having to sneak past and almost coming to blows over their accusing the pirates because they're pirates.
Yeah. I mean,
because they are. Sorry.
They are indeed. They are pirates. And that's actually a good example for what's to come with The Mandalorian, we think.
Not our pirate impressions. That's a different thing.
Oh, hell no. No, we said that. No, I like the pirates, and I think they are going to be used later on in the series. I think we will see them become the good guys, the bad guys gone good. I think that's how you'll see them being used in the end. We know that the Resistance at this point, especially where we are in the timeline, has been smashed. Yeah. There's nothing left. They've just lost on Crate. Leia has given out the. By this point, we assume she's given out the signal of anyone out there, come help, because of course they've just been to Dakar, and of course it was absolutely decimated.
Yeah. It's really nice that we're in a timeline. We know where we are, and you're right. Hopefully that we are at the point where she's gone out with her message. But I don't know if that would even reach the Colossus, because even though Kaz is there, I don't think he is going to have that same level of contact, because it was all very much under the table, hush hush contact he was getting. So I don't think he would get the message that Leia sent out. So I do believe that's right about where we are. I think end of Battle of Crate is probably a good place to put them, if not in the midst of that battle currently.
Yeah, I mean, Poe may reach out. That could be the way forward. We know he returns in the series at some point. We just don't know how or why yet.
Yeah.
Of course, Kylo Ren appears, so we know that's after the Battle of Crate. So we know that this series goes beyond that. Of course, we know it's set before 7, during 7, after 7, before 8, during 8, and after 8. So everyone gets mints at the end of it. But we know that it has to be in there somewhere. So we know that when Kylo makes his appearance, it is beyond episode 8. So I think we will get the message. I think Kaz will receive that message probably either in the next episode or the next 2 or 3, but purely to set the timeline. And it may be a case of, at this particular juncture of recording this very episode, we are 5 weeks away from the Rise of Skywalker. 5 or 6 weeks, and it's just like this amazing level of... It's less than 50 days.
It's crazy.
It's less than 50 days until the Rise of Skywalker. Which means at this particular point, we have 5 or 6 episodes before the Rise of Skywalker. So it won't be... It may just be before the Rise of Skywalker, so the episodes after the Rise of Skywalker, it's a case of, now you've seen what happens in that timeline, we can now give you a little bit before that. Because we know that this is set before episode 9, but after episode 8. So it's that year gap in between.
It's going to be a really interesting time to where this series goes with where we are with it now. And I do kind of hope it finishes either in the midst or the very beginning part, maybe, of where we see the Rise of Skywalker. Obviously, we have no idea. Rise of Skywalker was set, a year after the events of... It's going to be set a year after the events of episode 8, Last Jedi.
Yeah.
So whether we get that far with this, I don't know. It would be nice for it to kind of sync up that way, but I just think a year in time might be a little bit too far for the series to reach where we are now. I don't think it'll go that far, but it'll go a few months after. It'll be in that point in between. So it'll probably end up with Kaz and the rest of them joining up with the Resistance band that meets Leia and whatever happens in the Rise of Skywalker. Because we know roughly what points. We know some plot points that will be continued and developed in episode 9 from episode 8. You know that Leia sent out this message. Yeah.
You know that, well, you've seen in the trailers this giant gathering, and you've seen, of course, all the ships arrive. So you know that plot point is being fulfilled. That bit's being paid off. And I think that you'll end up with the Colossus being there somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people have watched that trailer and said it is in. I've had a look. I can't quite spot. There's a lot of ships.
Can't see it.
Yeah, look very similar in sort of shape, but
the lots is there. That makes me very happy. You know,
absolutely. There's so many ships to look at in all their glory.
The Ghost. I mean, come on. The Ghost,
yeah, that's all I need is the Ghost, and it's front and center as well next to the Falcon, where it should be.
Oh hell yeah!
But going back to this episode, I just think it was a really nice episode.
I'll tell you what, I feel something we need. If Hera's in it, we need her with the Ghost. I mean, Lando and Hawker go, the VCX 100. I was promised one of those a long time ago. We know they've had that interaction before. We know they've met in Rebels, but at the same time, it's now we can have that payoff from Solo. It's just this cool little line, but
it'd be amazing. That would be lovely. But I think
Captain Syndulla, we meet again. I want that payoff. Damn it! I want the payoff between Hera and Lando.
That'd be amazing. It really would.
It would be. It would be. There's so many points to it, though. There's so much to come. There's
so much that could meet up and join up with these films, and hopefully it's coming with this series as well. But yeah, I really want to go back to this episode and just kind of go. I really like what they did with it. I thought this one was, from where the last two I thought could have been one episode, and kind of like you said, this one felt rushed by the plot points that had it. I think they could have done that with the last two episodes, made that one, and I think this could have been a two-parter. Would have been my way of running it out. I think it might have worked better to have the first
I can
part.
see that. Although I still love the first of the last two episodes we saw where they had the training side by side. I still love the juxtaposition between the two of them. To be honest, they could have just cut out the last episode entirely and made this a two-parter. I wouldn't have. Cared.
The last episode, I think we all said it was not a great episode. It was kind of let's go get some meat, and that was kind of it really. And then
quite literally, let's go get some meat. It's just that's all it was.
So it kind of lost marks for me on that. But this episode, again, I was quite, I think because I was quite disappointed with the last one, this one felt much better for me. I felt a much nicer flow. I really enjoyed the story, and I love the interaction of the characters more and more as the series is going on. I really like whenever we get the pirates involved. They were underused in the last two episodes, especially the last episode where they were kind of like, right, we're going to do it. And then we're like in there for 4 minutes before they were defeated and never tried again to go kill the creature.
Which annoyingly does kind of undersell them as a fighting force.
It does, yeah. When you think that they're probably going to have to be heavily relied on towards the back end of the series for their prowess and probably their skills. And we know that when Kaz on this mission was sent off, they would say, look, take someone with you who can handle a blaster. And he was like, hey, I've been practicing. So you know they're still not combat pilots. The Aces, although they had that one training mission, again, they're kind of underplayed from this again, that you don't see them for a while. They were up in the bar wanting to play video games this time, which was it was nice that you got to see the Colossus coming back online and the things that the residents had missed.
It really felt to me, when the Colossus was under attack, it really felt like Krennic on Scarif going, you know, I don't know, it was Scarif, sorry, it's, I can't remember the character from The Last Jedi. It was like, you know, scramble the fighters, like we should have done 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
It really felt like, where are your aces? Why are you not defending yourself? Why are you just waiting for someone to switch the power back on?
Yeah, exactly. Like all the TIE fighters were shooting, and the shields were
just wrecking it. They were just trying to go, we're going to rip you to shreds here.
Yeah, and I did love that the First Order arrived again. Seeing a massive First Order Star Destroyer. Pyre is cold-hearted and just ready for destruction.
Oh,
he really,
Pyre.
Really wants to blow that ship out of the sky.
I much prefer Pyre over Phasma. In fact, I mean, to continue my Phasma run, I actually got the Age of Resistance. It was just kind of trying on Age of Resistance. So I got my Age of Resistance comics the other day, and of course, one of them is Phasma. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give this one a read just because I've read both the other comic.
Yeah.
I know that I've given her so many chances. And in this one, again, she's covering her own. And she literally kills a whole bunch of stormtroopers because they know. And at one point, you know, she questions them, what are you doing? He goes, well, I'm going to kill the traitor coward. She said, well, no one's ever going to know. And it's like, you're just confirming everything I've ever said about you. You are a complete coward. This character has just been ruined for me. So Pyre is just badass. I love Pyre. Give me Pyre over Phasma. Also, yeah, gold's better than silver. So yeah, gold best. But it's that level of just like, Pyre is just cool. Tyranny, though. Tyranny is a character I'm really intrigued by. I'm really looking forward to see how Tam's relationship with Tyranny is played off later on.
It has to, because she's such she's that proper evil character that you want to kind of have in the First Order. That you're just like, oh, I don't.
Well,
like
she's
her.
Also so instrumental in bringing Tam to the First Order.
Yes, oh, absolutely. Yeah, it was her who was giving her all the questions towards the back in the Series 1. Like, look, come with us. We've done this. We're not lying to you. That's your so-called friends. I've told you all these mistruths, so come join us. But I just think she's got this real classic bad guy streak about her, where she's like, I'm going to be right for a change, like over Pyre, when they were saying that they've got the Colossus and now it's shut down because of them hiring Nina. But then obviously as soon as it was like, yeah, she didn't do a very good job. She's like, yep, next time I see her, execute her. Yeah. So she's got no BS about her. She won't handle fools lightly. I really like that side of her. And I think she's could do with being a bit more on screen. I'd like to see some more of her story play out.
I think we'll get more of it. I think as time goes on, between Tam and Tyranny, you'll get much more of a story. And I think Ruckland will continue to be there as well. He may even side with Tam, or make Tam choose between the First Order and the Resistance. Kind of, he may be the soft approach, whereas Tyranny will be the hard approach, and it'll be. I'm looking forward to seeing the relationship between those three characters.
Yeah.
Pyre, we know, is the straight up and down first order. You know, if you screw up, I will execute you. Tyranny is on that, but she also has that softer edge to go, to try and persuade, but at the same time, she'll just snap in a heartbeat if she needs to. Ruckland is softer still. Then, of course, you have Tam, who, of course, we know she still hasn't decided. She still has not made her mind up. She believes in her heart she's doing the right thing, but she's not, at the back of the mind, niggly, she's not quite yet convinced. So it's those plot points looking forward to paying off, and I really think that they missed an opportunity with this saboteur to have something going on where Tam could have been eventually persuaded to go back. The saboteur could have gone, okay, I'll join you because of Niku, and then gone, I have done all of this. I need to now undo all of this because this will happen. If not, the First Order get there. It really could have been this really cool plot point, and I think they missed opportunity.
I think I can kind of go with that as well. I think you're right that it could have played out for the entirety of the season of why they were being maybe. That could have been the point that, we're now starting to find the First Order just finding us and they're catching up with us at every occasion. And I think that would have been nice for her to have been part of the story for certainly more than the episode she was. And I think you're right. I think she will be back at some point. I don't think that was the last we'll see of Nina at all. I think she's played very well. And I think because she's obviously the wife of the main character of Niku, I can never remember his name. I keep forgetting it.
Ultra Brenner.
Yes. I think she will be back. I think there would have been to bring her for one episode when the characters played off each other so well. And maybe that will be their ending. Their end point will be them. If she did have the story, and at first you think, is it just a story about her being slaved into a Hutt clan as well, which I really liked. That I mentioned the Hutts and slaving was lovely.
Yeah, Megan Falcone, that's who plays.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Nina. Yeah.
So I wonder if she probably has a gold bikini hanging around somewhere. I'm guessing if she was part of a Hutt clan somewhere.
May well one day find out.
Yes, he will. High five for Niku.
Indeed.
But yeah, so I like
the relationship. This is maybe a kid's show, but we're family friendly.
Yes, absolutely. We really are family friendly. Because George is not here, so no F-bombs anyway. So I thought the episode played out really well. And you know what? I really liked the closing of the episode. I like Niku's explanation of how I forgot the lead guy's name. Kaz. Dear me, that went on my head. How Kaz likes to talk about himself and big himself up a lot. And that he never really asked Niku about who he was or where he's come from or about his family, things like that. And what the Bantha farmers as well, which I also thought was a lovely nod as well. It was really nice to hear some of these things that you don't hear a lot of name-wise.
Well, we still need to find out what a nerf herder is.
Scruffy looking, apparently. But yeah, I really like this ending that he upped him from best friend to bestest friend. And that his other friend, that I love the line, who's the other friend? There's a chair I really like.
Fond of. There's a couple of bits and pieces of well in there. It's the fact that, my other best friend's a chair. It's like he kind of plays off as, this piece of furniture is awesome. I like this piece of furniture.
Yeah, I like how, because he's such a literal character, that he has things like that. And I thought he really stood out in this episode, which he hasn't in a lot of previous ones where he's being played as the goofy sidekick. He really took front and center, even though Kaz had the mission again to go and try and get this sorted.
It was Niku's episode, but I like that though. Niku, he's one of my favorite characters purely because again he takes so literally and everything's just funny to him.
And Niku
it's just brilliant. I love him.
He was the man in the chair guiding Kaz around, trying to find all these bits that need to be fixed as well, which I really like.
He was able just to go, right, I know, okay, I can see what she's done. You need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. And then they switched off the comic relief, which I liked. Yeah. They just went, no, here's an actual character with actual substance.
Yeah, I really, really liked this episode. It was really pleasant. I was not taken away from it. I was sat for the 22 minutes and I thoroughly enjoyed all of it. I get what you mean by the pacing and that it did feel rushed, but in a 22-minute episode, I was more than happy with what we've been given in this episode.
Yes, really I liked it. I liked it. It was just that odd pacing, and again, it just felt rushed. And I just saw the opportunity for those plot points to be paid off later on. I think it was just more like going, so much potential, not wasted, just used a little too quickly.
Yeah, I can go with that. But yeah, from what we've seen so far, 5 episodes in, 3 I have been really happy with, and 2 lesser so, the episode 3 and 4. But yeah, for first 2 and this one, been really good episodes. I'm really enjoying the second series.
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying it on a whole. Looking forward to what's coming up. I'm looking forward to another show coming next week, obviously.
I mean, we will sort of say now, I mean, next week we have got quite a busy schedule ahead of us. We've got George and I will be live with you on Thursday. We know we do Wednesday night, but George unfortunately isn't available. So Thursday we'll be out with our regular Ones of the Force show. Phill unfortunately will not be joining us. He will be away in Sweden, hopefully throwing those dice and flying some X-Wings.
Well, I fly a Lancer, so it's something.
Yeah, cool. It's all good.
I fly Ketsu. I mean, come on, I've got some rebels in there somewhere. No, it's Ketsu, Old Terok. It's basically a quad jumper in there, a little M3A, which if you'll know from Legends. So it's a M3A, a quad jumper, a Fang Fighter, and the Lancer. So 2 ships from Rebels in there. It's relevant.
Awesome, it really is. So yeah, next week we've got kind of a busy week. So this is
also why Thursday. I have kind of paint on my hands.
Paint all over your hands, yeah. If anyone's doing it right now.
I like the paints to come with standard. They look cool, but I'm me, so I repaint them. My scum's all purple.
So it's all in the squad. Absolutely, I get it, mate. I get it.
Exactly.
So yeah, so busy week, as I said. We've got George and myself will be live with you on Thursday for our regular episode of Ones with the Force. We'll be talking, I'm sure, over the directorial cuts that have happened again in Lucasfilm. There's not a lot of news out there because obviously that's going to be happening soon. We won't have anything after that until Resistance will be again next Sunday. We've got episode number 6, From Beneath is the title of that episode. And then, yes, Tuesday next week, the big one, episode 1 of The Mandalorian will drop. Now, as of right now, whether we can comment on that immediately after it's aired, we don't quite know yet. We may be a little bit behind in getting our word out on it, but
we may be several months behind. We don't. At this point, we cannot confirm. We do not know what we'll be able to do.
Yeah, whichever, we will try our utmost. We obviously want to be up with the curve on everybody. We know that not getting this out quickly puts us behind a lot of other podcasts. But as soon as we are able to view Mandalorian, no matter how we have to do it, we will get the hold of that. And as soon as we have all seen it, we will be on to talk about it and go through the episodes. Again, it'll be a show like this. We won't talk about our main episodes. We'll do an episode literally for each Mandalorian episode. And I'm sure there'll be a mix of all 3 of us, or at least 2 of us on to talk about each episode that comes out. We're very, very excited for The Mandalorian. Very, very upset that we don't have Disney Plus.
Indeed. So our Resistance show will come to you next week, but we're not quite sure when it'll be, purely because of I arrive back on the Monday, but my flight lands at 8 o'clock in the evening. So by the time I get back from Gatwick, I'm talking at least 9:30, 10 o'clock. It could be this time again. However, I wouldn't have watched the episode. So it may be unlikely for the Monday. However, Dave and I will talk about that. And we'll bring you some news eventually what will happen. It may be on the Tuesday. We may just end up doing a double header for Dave and myself, at least when George joins for Mandalorian if he doesn't join for our Resistance breakdown. But we will bring you something. We'll give you an announcement at some point on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at the Ones of the Force, the Stars Podcast, at the Force Podcast. So pay attention there. We'll keep you updated with how we do what we do. But yeah, so the guys are back on Thursday with the regular show. We will have our Resistance show next week. Just can't give you a definitive time or day for it yet, but as soon as we know, as soon as we've got our schedule down packed, we will let you all know.
And really, I think that's kind of everything. Overall, I think Resistance Series 2 is going really well. I do want to just put out a massive, I do really check this up, but a massive thank you to everyone who is watching us, who especially is listening to us on the podcast. The listens that we are getting, the downloads of our podcast for each episode are growing, which is amazing. I do want to say a big thank you to a lot of our listeners are now in the USA, and I'm really grateful for you guys who have come on, who are listening in the Podden family community, in the Star Wars family, hashtag on Twitter family as well, who have come on, and there's a really nice community, and it really is helping our podcast grow, which is amazing. So really just a massive thank you from me for listening and watching as well, because our views are growing all the time.
Indeed. And it allows us to do things like this, including, Dave, what a lovely shirt you're wearing.
This is a lovely shirt I'm wearing. And by the way, Phil, that's a lovely shirt you're wearing.
It is indeed. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, if you're watching this now live, we have got one of our new t-shirts on, Phil and I. It's inspired by the Return or Revenge of the Jedi logo, which is our Ones with the Force Star Wars podcast t-shirt in that font and logo. If you go to TeePublic and search for OWTF, whatever that might happen to mean, Ones with the Force, of course, nothing else at all for OWTF. And you can have a look. We have 5 shirt designs. They are awesome. There's this one, the new one, which is beautiful as well. As a lovely Clone Wars inspired design as well for our name. So if you do fancy supporting us in any way at all, you can go over to, again, TeePublic.
Indeed,
and search
we
Ones with
did
the
have a
Force.
lovely Rise of the Skywalker shirt that Dave and I own that we can no longer say. You can see the design on there. It's down below one of our stickers. They didn't take the sticker away. They took everything else away, but not the sticker.
Disney did stop our styles.
To be fair, we did have a giant F-off, like, huge Star Wars logo here.
Yeah,
I can understand why they took that one. This one's a little different, but
they
hey
are
ho, it was. Also though, many colors are available. Dave, of course, is sporting the black. There we go. Dave's sporting the black over there. I've got the heather grey. My Clone Wars one is in a heather blue, so again, it's kind of got a blue tint to the grey in there as well. I do have the Far Far Away style in black because that just
love that
black.
shirt.
Yeah,
that is one of my favorite. Now I've seen it live on Phil when he showed me the picture, and it looks phenomenal as well. So that is my next shirt. But yes, so our designs are available again. TeePublic.
And they may still be on sale. I'm not quite sure yet. They're on somewhere on sale at the moment because when I bought mine, they extended the sale, so you never know. They may still be on sale. However, yes, don't forget to check it out. As per usual, nothing really left to say except thank you so much for watching or listening. Of course, if you've been listening to the last few seconds, you won't know what we're talking about. However, go and check out our TeePublic store. Search OWTF and you will find our lovely merchandise. You can get t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, shirts. You can get stickers. You can get whatever you want, even cushions. If you want to watch the 4 Stars podcast cushions so you can rest your weary head as you listen to us and drift off in your sleep, then you're very welcome to do so. As per usual, so don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can find us at Ones of the 4 Stars podcast, at the Force Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can find the audio for this later on Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, and iTunes. The video, of course, will be later on YouTube. We've been Ones of the Force. May the Force be with you. Good night.